Thank you so much for your interest in Fresh Start Finance's bankruptcy form software. I'm Justin. I'm actually one of the co-founders of Fresh Start Finance, and the heart of the Fresh Start Finance bankruptcy filing software is honestly ultimately to provide you a simple, intuitive way to try to navigate the complex bankruptcy process and honestly give you a fresh start today. So here's even a recent review from someone who used our product. They said,
"From the moment I learned about Fresh Start Finance until I submitted my documents to the court was literally 48 hours later. It was so fast. It was so easy."
So in this video, we will cover first how to actually use the Fresh Start bankruptcy filing software. How do you use that? And then how Fresh Start helps after you file bankruptcy and the general 10-step bankruptcy filing process. So ultimately, by the end of this video, you will understand the steps to file for bankruptcy and how our software is honestly going to help simplify the process. This includes the case update portal, automatic creditor integration, the 341 meeting of creditors preparation page, and our credit rebuilding portal. Additionally, this video is provided just for informational purposes only and definitely should not be construed as any kind of legal advice. If you want legal advice and you don't want to file bankruptcy without an attorney, click on Ask Bankruptcy Attorney section at the top, and that'll give you actually the ability to get a free evaluation with an attorney in your area. Okay, so let's talk about how to use the Fresh Start Finance software. So the two most common types of bankruptcies are Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Now, Fresh Start Finance's software is currently actually just for Chapter 7s. So I guess what is Chapter 7 bankruptcy? So Chapter 7 bankruptcy is a US regulated legal option, and it's for forgiveness of certain specific debts. So some people emerge debt-free from a Chapter 7. It is often the cheapest and fastest way out of debt, and thankfully it is a form-based bankruptcy. When you file Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you're actually going to submit a bunch of different forms to the court. On our website, you'll fill out questionnaires that then automatically update the forms that you can print out, review, and send them to the court yourself. First, the software is excellent for before you file, and we'll cover that first, but some of my favorite features, such as a 341 meeting of creditors preparation and the crediting portal, come after filing, so stick around so you see how to actually use those to help you as well. Okay, so how the software works. So first off, it's really important to remember that the software itself is not a bankruptcy petition preparer, and we love to be helpful to answer general questions, but we cannot really say that you should do one thing or another, right? And additionally, we can't instruct you on answering any question on the form or advise you to change an answer, even if we may know what the correct answer is. These suggestions can kind of be considered legal advice, and that's one thing our software or non-attorneys can't really do, sadly. So that said, let's go through these forms. You have to submit various forms about creditors, expenses, etc. So first, you would just answer various questions. So as you probably can see here, I've got some forms that are already completed, some that are in progress, and ultimately, once you've completed all the forms and reviewed the previews, which you can see here, you can then download them, which I'm going to talk about next. Once you want to download the forms and once you're done, you're ready to download and review them. One thing just to remember though, the download will include forms that you actually may not have been able to preview before, like the creditor mailer matrix, for example. Now, after you've actually downloaded the forms, you can go through the filing checklist, which this is kind of what it looks like here. You can, we want to provide you the potential courthouse, the court information, where you'd file the case, and it honestly can be helpful to call the courthouse to confirm that is indeed the courthouse you'd file in. And so you can see some information there, including the phone number to call. You can also ask the courthouse whether there are any specific local rules applicable to you. This section ultimately will include information about the credit counseling course as well, the social security number form, and potentially any kind of other relevant form or relevant information related to your case. So after you file for bankruptcy, Fresh Start Finance will provide you with automatic case updates, information on the 341 meeting of creditors, and a free credit rebuilding portal that can actually help you fix common reporting errors that are surprisingly happening after bankruptcy discharge and help you get those resolved and then also rebuild your credit as well. Okay, let me show you how each of these work. Okay, so I'm gonna first start off with the case update section. So as you can see here, you have your case number in the top left, you have the the chapter you filed. Obviously, if you're using our software, it's going to be chapter 7. You'll have the last update that was potentially made on your case. So what you'll see here is the docket report, okay? So you'll see when that form was potentially filed. You'll see some snippet of the text of potentially what's going on there. So for example, here it says it's the court's notice regarding, a no asset chapter 7, blah, 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 all that stuff. One of the most important things you'll see here is it says 341 meeting set for 5/11/2023 at 10:15 a.m., at telephonic hearing. And it gives you the data there because that way you can actually understand, okay, now I know the date, now I know the time, and you can be better prepared. And that kind of leads into my next thing, which I want to talk about, is the 341 meeting of creditors section. So we put this together with you in mind specifically. A lot of times people can get a little bit anxious about this meeting. Honestly, it's fairly quick most of the time. Sometimes it's as little as 5 minutes. But people are nervous. They don't know what questions are going to be asked, and they want to prepare for it. And so we want to help you do that. And so the way we do that here is we have 5 steps you kind of walk through. You have how the 341 meeting of creditors works. You also see, some questions that they may ask you. And so we embed a form that you can fill out to prepare for it. And so you can just kind of work through these questions yourself. And then there's quite a few, but you'll work through them and submit, and then we'll actually send you, what you put in and the answers. That way you can show up your meeting of creditors prepared, right? So it's kind of nice. And then there's more sections. It gives you videos like actual 341 meeting of creditors, some simulated versions, how to prepare for it, and then just kind of an overview of it as well. And then there's a video that was put together that you can see that kind of gives you some examples of when meeting of creditors may not go so great, and how do you kind of avoid that, as well as, what to expect after the meeting. And so we kind of want to give you a sense of when to file a certain form and the due date for that. And so we help you prepare for that as well. And then also at the end, you can click a button here that'll say like, I completed the hearing, and it'll just take you to this next place to kind of get a sense of what we can help you in the future as well. But once you're actually done with the bankruptcy and discharge, so like complete from the bankruptcy, we want to give you access to the credit rebuilding portal. And that's something you have access to with the software as well. It'll help you track your progress. It'll help you track your credit score, and those like common errors I was talking about earlier. We want to help you rebuild those too and get them resolved. And so there's a section here that kind of gets you a sense of certain things that you want to make sure are not showing, or certain things that are showing properly, and then how to dispute them, and also reaching out to us if you have questions as well. And then different opportunities and ideas for rebuilding your credit score. And that's all in here. Okay, with all that in mind, let's now dive into those 10 steps to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy without an attorney. So first, you want to try to figure out, do you use a software? Do you not, right? Bankruptcy forms are detailed and can feel a little overwhelming. And so the sheer number of forms you have to fill out and the complexity of those forms can get honestly complicated. So it's important for you to understand, do you want to use a software or do it on your own? Okay, step 2, documents. So gathering information in documents is going to be crucial. Thankfully, Fresh Start does allow you to do a soft credit pull to automatically fill out your creditor information. That said, you can get access to a free credit report once a year at annualcreditreport.com. You don't have to sign up for some creditor monitoring software that you may not need. You will thankfully know it's the right website because it says the only source for free credit reports that's authorized by federal law. You'll also need documents like tax returns from the past 2 years, proof of your income, loan statements, titles, registrations for vehicles in your name, etc. Having these kind of things ready will make it much, much easier for you to complete the required forms. Okay, step 3. Chapter 7 Bankruptcy Means Test. So before moving on, you'll most likely want to take the Chapter 7 Bankruptcy Means Test. So this test actually determines if you meet any income requirements for Chapter 7 bankruptcy based on your actual household size. The aim is to qualify you for a discharge, which means that you'll no longer have to pay back certain debts. If you pass, it's kind of like a green light to continue. Now, our software, the Fresh Start Finance software that I've been talking about, automatically estimates that for you and whether you qualify for the means test. Okay, step 4, the credit counseling course. So the credit counseling course is the first of 2 required courses. You'll need to complete the first one before you actually file bankruptcy. The course is offered by many approved companies with fees ranging from $10 to $50. just ensure that the provider is US trustee approved. I'm personally quite frugal, so I wanted to find a government approved and cheap option that seemed great to the user, so I added one below that I found economical, but I also include the entire government approved list for you to look through on your own. There's a lot of companies. Okay, step 5, Chapter 7 bankruptcy forms. So complete your Chapter 7 bankruptcy forms. The bankruptcy forms, like I said earlier, can be complex, but depending on your answers, it could be 70 pages long. These forms are available on the US court website, or the software that we're talking about will provide simplified access to those forms as well. Now, you'd print each form, review it for accuracy, and then sign when needed. Okay, step 6, filing the forms and paying the filing fee. So you're going to want to file the forms and pay the filing fee. The filing fee for Chapter 7 bankruptcy is typically $338. Most courts accept cash or money orders, so be sure to check with the court in advance. Please note that you may actually be able to get the $338 filing fee waived based on income requirements, or you can end up paying those in installments as well. Our software has those forms available for you as well. Okay, step 7, submitting your paperwork. Each trustee may have a different document process, so you want to check with the trustee's office on what needs to be sent before your 341 meeting of creditors. You may receive information by mail or email outlining any required documents that you may need to submit. Okay, step 8, the debtor education course. So you're going to want to complete the debtor education course. This second course is also offered online by approved providers. Many of the companies that offer the first credit counseling course also provide the second debtor education course. So once you've completed, you may need to file the certificate with the court to confirm you've met the requirements, or it might actually end up being filed automatically. You may also be able to complete this after the 341 meeting of creditors with your trustee, but it could be helpful to bring this to the meeting to provide to your trustee to show that you've already done it. All right, step 9. 341 meeting of creditors. All right, you're gonna wanna attend this meeting. You wanna attend the 341 meeting of creditors. This meeting usually takes place 30 to 45 days after you file. Many people I speak with are nervous and kind of stressed about this meeting. So I did, put together the 341 preparation page that you can access. And so that way you can be more secure coming up to your meeting. Some folks on our team here have actually sat in on some 341 meeting of creditors, and they've mentioned that the meeting can take 3 minutes, 10 minutes, and they have not actually seen a creditor show up in these meetings that they've sat on in the past. Step 10, addressing secured debts. So car loans and other secured debts are usually not discharged in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. You'll need to continue making payments if you want to keep your asset. You may need to either reaffirm the car loan, which reaffirms your loan, or you can redeem the car. Redeeming is super interesting because that's where you pay the value of the vehicle instead of what is owed on the vehicle. So it can actually save quite a bit of money. Now, that can be difficult because who can come up with that sort of payment? So there are also options to help in that situation. Otherwise, if you don't want the vehicle, you may be able to surrender it, and creditors can no longer ask for payment on that asset. Okay, thanks for sticking with me here, guys. Our goal is to provide a simple, intuitive way to navigate the complex bankruptcy process and give you a fresh start today. Please give us a call or text if you have any questions whatsoever. We are here for you.